girls, we're here. Where do you guys want to eat? You guys want to go to McDonald's, Burger King? Where do you guys want to go?
Burger King.
Burger King. What do you guys want for Burger King?
Ice cream.
What else? Do you guys want chicken nuggets? You guys want some burgers too?
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
Alright, everybody listen up, please. Notebooks out, look up here. So we've been having a lot of opportunities around the community and throughout this year to help you figure out what you're passionate about and what you care about. The first step to the problem-solving process, once you've been exposed to the community around you, is to figure out what is the problem that you see there. Why are you so bored? This should be interesting. You've been out in the community, you've been looking at the world around you, you've been on the bus, you've been on the light rail, you've talked to your friends, you've talked to your family. There should be something out there in the community that you see needs to be changed, or that you think needs to be adjusted, fixed, enhanced. So right now in your notebooks, you need to be thinking about what things have you seen. Go off of your observations and figure out, what do I think could be adjusted? What does the community need?
Oh, got it.
Who have you talked to? All right? Do that in your notebooks, and then we'll take some more notes in a minute.
Throughout the globe, children are facing many different problems. In America, our children have been facing one growing problem: childhood obesity. Over the past 3 decades, childhood obesity rates in America have tripled, and today, nearly 1 in 3 children in America are overweight or obese. Yes, childhood obesity is a problem, but first, in order to understand the problem, we have to understand the stakeholders. Who are our stakeholders? Also, out of the 30 surveys that we held, the following interviews are some of the most common answers that we received.
People who are positively impacted by childhood obesity is anyone working in the fast food industry, which are the producers of processed food, managers of fast food restaurants, and employees who work in the fast food restaurants. They're impacted positively because obese individuals will keep coming to them as long as the food is good and affordable.
How many times a week, Sephora, do you go out and eat junk food with your brothers or sisters?
7 times a week, practically, at McDonald's because it's the closest one.
Is this healthy?
No,
Why do you do it?
because it's yummy, it's delicious.
And cheap. People who are negatively impacted by the problem would be the children themselves, the ones that are at risk, the schools, parents, doctors, nutritionists, psychologists. All these have a role to play because each and every one will have something to contribute in order to try to solve the problem.
Hey Melissa.
Hi.
Do you know what the psychological and health-related consequences are of childhood obesity?
Well, I would think that bullying and stress are some of the things that trigger a lot of childhood obesity, which can lead to heart problems, diabetes, and other things in the future.
In the environment, many kids spend most of their time watching TV or playing video games, and since parents may not know much about healthy choices, they can give their kids oversized food portions.
Fast food production is extremely harmful to the environment because it can damage the fertility of the land in which the crops are grown. Also, the shipping of the food around the country is extremely wasteful and causes damage to the ozone due to the CO2 that is being released from all the different engines.
The economic causes of childhood obesity is fast food being more affordable than organic food, which is easy for those poor families to access. And it's also easier and cheaper to make processed food because it contains artificial chemicals that are cheaper than natural ingredients. Parents should spend a minimum of 15 minutes with their children, and when they're not spending enough time, it will cause a lack of communication.
Do you get your kids involved?
In my workouts or working
Just
out?
yeah.
My kids are always active.
Your kids
They're
are
always at my oldest is in swimming, basketball, and karate, and my youngest is in karate and swimming.
So weekly, how long do you think, like in hours, how long do you think they're active? Like a week, how many hours a week are they active?
on an organized level, as far as like the karate and basketball, swimming, those are active probably about 7 hours a week, and on an unorganized level, just playing in the backyard and swimming in the backyard. Also
Socially, when a parent isn't spending enough time with their children, it causes a lack of communication. And as a result of this lack of communication, children can easily develop poor eating habits, and it can cause a lack of exercising for the child.
They don't like to eat vegetables, but we try to make sure there's vegetables on the plate every time. They have to at least taste them. Even if they don't like something, they still have to eat it, at least taste it. We try not to buy, we do try to buy healthy foods. My wife likes to buy organic. We don't always buy organic. We try to avoid white bread, junk food, stuff like that.
Alright, so I guess from my perspective of kind of what I've grown to know what an eating habit is, it's more of, there's kind of like two sides. There's an eating habit where people usually don't eat at all. They starve themselves, Their eating habits are the less that they consume, it's better for them. While on the other hand, an eating habit would be kind of overdosing on food and, just kind of, I guess, just consuming, because they feel as if that's what their body can take, that's what makes them feel right. And that's kind of what I've learned, what an eating habit is, as I've grown.
Mr. Calderon,
Yes.
what exactly is healthy?
But in a few words, just healthy means just being physically active, and then that doesn't mean going to a gym, just being active altogether. Eating as whole as you can, meaning like no rote foods, but foods that are not as processed.
What do you think causes childhood obesity?
I think childhood obesity is caused by bad parenting, easy access to junk food, and it's actually relatively cheap, so a lot of the kids are just going out to Circle K's and buying lots of soda. I think that there's like little education on healthy eating in schools, and that just attributes to kids not knowing what to eat, and then they just buy what's accessible to them, which is junk food.
Locally, Build Initiative is trying to spread awareness in the communities throughout Arizona by teaching good eating and exercising habits to families.
Nationally, we have Michelle Obama's Let's Move campaign, where she teaches children and adults about healthier choices, whether it being exercise and or eating habits that will allow them to be healthier in the future and pursue their dreams.
Globally, Coca-Cola is working on offering low-calorie drinks, and they also said they'd stop marketing to children under the age of 12. After doing my 5 whys, the root cause that I chose was children are using food as a stress reliever, which meant I was going to be exploring a psychological side of childhood obesity.
After going through my 5 whys, I identified my main root cause. There is no awareness. Childhood obesity starts at home and within the environment that the child is raised in. Hey Nayeli.
Hey dude.
What are you doing for your 7-step process? What problem did you choose?
I chose childhood obesity.
Really? I did
Yep.
too. What's your root cause? Because I think we could work together if we have like a similar root cause or something.
I chose that kids are using food as their stress relievers.
Do you think it has anything to do with like what happens at home? Because my root cause has more to do with like the awareness that families are putting forth with childhood obesity.
Yeah, it does.
Hey, hello. Hi. So I think we should start brainstorming for what we're gonna do.
Okay, so what strategies we're gonna use?
I think they should all go around raising awareness to the different families and to the community. So we should do this.
So we're gonna be raising awareness.
What do you think are some ways we can do this?
Well, normally there are flyers. We can pass out flyers.
I like the idea of passing out flyers. I just don't really think it's sustainable because it needs to be sustainable in a way. So it could actually make an impact. And while flyers is a good idea to get information out, it's not something people are gonna like keep in mind. you know?
They won't bother looking at them.
Yeah, so I think not for this, it wouldn't be good enough.
What else do you think?
We could survey people and we could try to see what they think and stuff.
We would need to add something else to this. I mean, we could do something else and the service could be part of it.
So let's do one more.
How about we hold an intervention?
I actually like the idea. Hold intervention. What would be going on here?
Normally, when there's an intervention, people tell parents, go eat this, go exercise more. So I think that we should try to stay away from that. Maybe we could include them. We could educate people about how everything starts at home and
The impacts that it can have on the children as they grow up.
Yes.
How do you think it's going to be sustainable?
Later on, once we hold the intervention, we can actually get involved with an organization or a campaign that spreads awareness to families.
I think this is a really good start because although it's not that big, it could really make an impact within the small community that we intervention, you know? So like if we talk to one family, they'll be more inclined to talk to their families, therefore creating like a chain of families who are more educated towards this problem that America's facing nowadays.
Alright,
Let's get started. What is our vision? What would the world look like without obesity?
In 5 years, parents have sought help from either the family doctor or psychotherapist, which is why children are now enrolled in school sports. The school sports are held 5 times a week for an hour and it has helped children enhance their health.
In 5 years, families in our community will be more aware on the risks and impacts that childhood obesity can have on their children. They will be able to stop the problem before it begins, and they will be able to be more informed, not only themselves, but future generations. While working to put our plan to action, we faced a few obstacles. First of all, people didn't really seem very interested to hear what we had to say. We emailed several community members and churches to see if we could hold our intervention there. Unfortunately, only 2 of them replied, and one of them happened to be in Queen Creek, so we weren't able to make the trip. However, we did still try to reach people in other ways. For example, we held several small interventions at the library. This was one of them. From these small interventions, we were able to gather evaluations from the families we actually got to present to. Some of the things they told us were that they would like to see figures of the human body so they could understand what exactly is being affected by the obesity that their children are gaining. And number 2, that we should bring some kind of activity to involve the children into it so that they will be able to interact with us the way that we are trying to interact with the families. Carrying out this presentation and intervening to a bigger audience is something that we really want to do in the future. We will continue to email and try to contact churches, community members, community centers, and schools over the summer so we can see if we can actually present this to a bigger audience, because we feel like it is meaningful